Three homages. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome and bienvenue. She bet I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't take that bet. I seem to be, my microphone is ringing quite a bit. Perhaps if the chanting mic were not on, that would be better. Is that better or worse? Better or worse? I feel like I'm at the eye doctor, but audio visual is important because some folks are coming to us from afar. Did I say good morning and welcome to Reno Buddhist Center? Some people have pointed out that I've already said that. Okay, well, thank you for coming and for tuning in up there. We will begin with our Shoshinge chant and incense offering. For those who are new to the temple, the Shoshinge is chanted from this book right here. It is bound in a Japanese fashion, so you must be mindful of the way, if you open it this way, nothing happens. And we chant our syllables, I guess is the best way to say what we're really doing, vertically in columns like this. So it's kind of different. Expand the mind. Enjoy it. We chant to feel the positive energy generated from the togetherness that it creates. Chanting is a core practice in our tradition. Shinran Shonin, our founder, wrote the Shoshinge about 800 years ago. The Shoshinge compresses his experiences and insights of practicing Pure Land Buddhism into one pleasantly long poem. He is certainly with us today. In it, we realize the principles that guide our lives. Shinran wants us to know that life is more than a simple journey from cradle to grave. We are part of a long, unbroken thread of life, which extends deep into the past, and we are responsible to extend that thread into the future. The incense offering. During the Shoshinge chant, people will get up and come to the front in an orderly fashion and offer incense. Everyone is encouraged to offer incense in the temple or at your home altar if you're at home. The burning of incense symbolizes transcending selfishness to become one with all. We have also 2 other altars in the Hondo. The Hondo is the main hall, that's the room you're in. There's a medicine Buddha altar here, offering the healing power of the medicine Buddha. And then on that side, we have Kuan Yin or Kanon's altar offering compassion. So if you have someone that needs extra help or you need extra help yourself, sometimes people go and also offer incense at those altars. That's optional. Okay. Here on the altar is Amida Buddha, providing us with boundless wisdom and compassion. Please offer incense with an open heart and deep gratitude to all your teachers.
기묘무료 준열아이 나무프카시기코 호소보사이니지 사이세지사이 오부쇼 토켄쇼부조도인国土人伝自然幕コヌム上首相願長法慶右大偶勢五公子唯師匠樹十世名称文字法不法無量無変更無下無体公園の少女歓喜知恵公不断難し無償公超日が交渉人生一切群上無交渉本願用語症状語死神信行願人上等学書大内藩非死滅道願成就如来勝意公衆性唯生弥陀本願会五辱惑自群上会方針如来両実言の法一年喜愛心不断本の特寧藩本性逆法再永入入手死入開一味聖主信仰上昇後意の水波無明暗本内心臓死運無上腹心自心人天非尿に幸福運無運無しげ妙無暗逆心謙虚大狂気即を超税後悪種一切全幕本部に門心如来偶税願仏言広大小芸者税人名踏んだりけ弥陀部本願念部茶謙虚満悪衆上信行十字人に難中止難昔インド最天子論下中華自治一期思考尊現代小公正小異妙如来本税大き釈迦如来両河線一種五妙 天竺ルジュ大事出頭性出の財派有無権先世大乗無情法召喚議事小安楽知難行六六信行異行指導楽億年弥陀部本願人年即時入返上結の上昇如来語法法大悲偶勢音天神菩薩増論世奇妙無下根如来平修ただ謙信寺高専王朝大聖願こういう本願力栄光移動群上小維新記入功徳大法会筆脈入大永修修特使蓮華造世界即昇進用法昇進有本の人間人図入賞自音自王下本自動乱有天地上高乱小菩薩来三蔵如是十条教本書専業気楽法天神菩薩論中下報道因果見世願方言栄光有他力少女死因唯心人惑前本部新人法承知承知即涅槃必死無量光明道小有修上開復系同社継承道難所有名浄土活入完全自力変言宗円満特語感染症三部三神慶音言増魔法明道非因一生増惑地偶勢思案妖怪小妙化全道独名部所意法愛上三有逆惑光明明語見因縁介入本願大智慧行者小樹金剛心狂気一年総合用意大東逆三人即小小四上楽現心公開一大教変気安養可二祭先祖修心反戦人法慶二道小弁流国十悪人唯小部外悪罪非正集中門の証言追復権大非無権上昇が本次元空妙仏教連民全幕本部人新宗教書後編集戦弱本願具悪性現代生じ臨伝下慶地義上位少子即入弱上無意楽非知心地にの入苦境大事修士と上妻無変極辱悪同族自主愚道心唯過心しこそせナムアミダアブナムアミダア だぶなあむあみだあぶなむみだじょぶのこの方は今に自己をへたまえりほしのこうりえぬきわもなくせのもみょうを照らすなりナムアミダブナムアミダブナムアミダブナ阿弥陀仏ナムは阿弥陀仏ナムは阿弥陀仏ナムは阿弥陀仏ナムは阿弥陀仏ナム下駄の降臨気はもなし高速かむるものはみなうむを離ると述べたも平等格に奇妙せよ栄光願にしくどく平等聖祭ども大神お嬢はらこナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダ now invite the children to go downstairs with Will and Aaron to Dharma school. Let's sing them out with Let the Buddha Walk with You.
The reading this morning, words from Shinran Shonin from the Tani Sho, chapter 6. Shinran once said, "It appears that disputes among followers of the sole practice of Nembutsu have occurred. They argue that these are my students and those are someone else's students. This is utterly senseless. For myself, I do not have even a single student. For if I brought people to say the Nembutsu through my own efforts, then they might be mine. But it is indeed preposterous to call persons my students when they say the Nembutsu by the working of Amida's great vow. We come together when conditions bring us to meet. We part when conditions separate us. In spite of this, some assert that those who say the Nembutsu after turning from one teacher to follow another cannot attain birth in the Pure Land. This is absurd. Are they saying that they will take back the faith and trust, the Shinjin given by Amida, as if it belonged to them? Such a claim should never be made. If one comes to be in accord with the spontaneous working of the vow, Jinen, one will awaken to the benevolence of the Buddha and of one's teachers." These were the words of the teacher, Shinran Shonin. We will now have a few moments of meditation accompanied by music.
maybe the chanty mic off again? Better. Okay, here we go. Technology is working. Yes. All right. So happy to see you all here. Still ringing.
It's still ringing. Is that a mic?
Turn it down, maybe?
Podium mic?
Now, how's that? Better. Down. Turn it down. How's that? Much better. Yes. Okay. Great. Thank you, Galen. Thank you so much. So, thank you very much for being here today. And we love welcoming new visitors and dear old friends. So, and those of you at home. It's such a cozy morning to be together. A little cloudy, a little cold. Maybe we'll get some more snow. Let's hope. Reflections on the past 2 weeks. We enjoyed a beautiful founders dinner in fellowship on Friday night. And a Golden Light meditation is rededicating their practice with a new facilitator to share the work of keeping that light burning on Thursday nights. And Dharma Book Group is well into our study of the Meditation Sutra, one of the 3 Pure Land Sutras that Pure Land Buddhism is based upon. And of course, we have joyful chanting, which is always a joy on Tuesday evenings. This is a happy Sangha life that we share together here. So we welcome you to tap into any one of those things, and then many other things that happen at the temple. Tai Chi, yoga, recovery groups, all kinds of things, Dharma recovery. So, but today we are here to remember our dear teacher, Daigon Matsunaga. And we keep his picture right up there on our founder's altar next to his wife, Reverend Alicia. Reverend Daigon Lee Matsunaga. It has been 13 years since he passed. And we take time to remember and honor him and his wife, Reverend Alicia's extraordinary and courageous vision of creating a Buddhist temple for us 33 years ago here in Reno. They have our sincere gratitude for this gift. Truly, we would not be sitting together in this moment had it not been for their incredible, unselfish energy and spark of an idea. Let's create an American Buddhist Sangha in Reno, Nevada. We will never be able to repay their kindness. Reverend Matsunaga was loved and known for his joyful sense of humor, his humility, grounded in naturalness, and his true and trusting heart of the Nembutsu, Namu Amida Butsu. He was very scholarly and knowledgeable about Buddhism, but very approachable and natural, and that he just came across very likable and easy if you knew him. He often began his Dharma talks describing the change of season or some simple observation of nature. A few years before he died, and he could not travel anymore, he would video stream his Dharma talks to us from Japan. He would get up at 1 or 2 in the morning so he could be here with us, even when he was ill. So that's how much he loved this Sangha. And he loved to just share whatever was happening around the temple in Hokkaido, like the sound of thousands of croaking frogs in the rice fields right next to the temple. You kind of felt like you were there. Eikyoji Temple in Hokkaido, Japan, the Great White North, kind of like the Alaska of Japan. He would share quotes from his favorite haiku poet, Issa. I think he loved Issa's reflections on simple gifts of nature. From his mindfulness of nature, he saw a unique quality
in ordinary daily life. He was reverent and aware. One of Isa's poems goes like this. Tsuryu oite, happily watching. Ureshiku miruru, the dewdrops forming. Kawazukana, frog. He liked to surprise people like that. At times, Matsunaga would surprise us by using English phrases like, move along, partner, or I got to hitch my giddy up today. He said he learned English from cowboy western movies as he watched as a child. His little village of Tadoshi in Hokkaido means the Valley of the White Birch. Beautiful there. They actually had 3 movie theaters in this tiny village. I don't know why they built 3 movie theaters, but they're now closed. But they were just a few minutes walk from the temple. Well, everything's a few minutes walk from the temple. It's very tiny. He went to the movies every Saturday to be transported into the wild American West. This probably planted the seed for his eventual move to study in Southern California and attend the Claremont Graduate University. More importantly, the famous Zen scholar D.T. Suzuki, teaching there 10 years before, also led to his choice to attend there. That's just a little about Reverend Matsunaga. He was such a good teacher and friend. He gave so many gifts to us. For instance, number 1, where we're sitting right now, RBC, the building. He gave us the Dharma. He published many, many books and helped others publish books through Buddhist Books International. One of those books was the Tani Show that Reverend Matthew read from this morning. And most importantly, the Sangha. He and Reverend Alicia planted the seed to start our wonderful Sangha that thrives today. And their very first service back in 1989, they had 3 humans and 4 dogs in attendance. So we always like saying that because just cute. You can imagine it. It didn't matter how many were in attendance. They always chanted the Shoshinge. They always did a Dharma talk. They always had meditation. They always were just present for each other. So we are continuing that on today. In a Buddhist view, gifts and giving are equally important. Different from American culture, where receiving gifts is more important. We can see without one, the other cannot exist. As the Buddha observed, this is because that is. This is not because that is not. In gratitude, we receive all the gifts of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We momentarily experience their selfless view of reality as it is in their giving. Reverend Matsunaga gave us so much. These gifts were his dana. Dana, the first precept in Buddhism, is not ordinary giving, but giving expecting nothing back in return. It reminds me of his last Dharma talk on letting go. Dana is a way of letting go. In this hall, it was built long ago. There are no signs saying who gave us this or who gave us that. There are no names of donors in this place. We replaced the roof 7 years ago. Many, many people donated, some large donations, some small donations. All are welcome. But there are no names of the donors. There is a reason for that. We encourage giving, expecting nothing back in return. If you give a donation and expect to have your name inscribed over the entrance of the temple, that is not called giving. That's just buying advertising. For us, the way the Buddha described it, giving is done from your heart, just with no strings attached, expecting nothing back. And that is really letting go. That's what Reverend Matsunaga did when he gave this place to us. He just gave without expecting. Do we do this sometimes? Can we reflect on ourselves here? When you have a relationship or get married, are you truly giving yourself, or are you expecting something back in return? Are you really letting go? Life is best when you let go. Reverend Matsunaga showed us that. Too often we expect things back, and that causes us a lot of suffering. Unrealized expectation, the strings we attach to things. When you get in a frustrated mind state, one disappointment after another, being thwarted at every turn, it feels pretty grim. So many things you feel were promised when you were young. You expect them from life. How many of them have you reached or acquired? Maybe very few. When you get out into the workforce, when you get married, even when you travel, you are burdened with so many expectations. And the more expectations you have, the less you can enjoy the ride. Reverend Matsunaga started this place with hope, but not with expectations. He had a deep, true, and trusting heart. There were no strings attached, no attachments attached. That is not saying that he didn't care. He did, deeply, about this Sangha, about keeping this place vibrant and alive. Once, when we were touring Hokkaido with him, 6 of us crammed into his blue Cadillac. Yes, he had a Cadillac in Japan. He took us all to his friends' temples in Sapporo. At each visit, we were greeted and then entered the main Hondo, like this, where Amida Buddha was. We would chant the Shoshinge with the temple master and Dr. Matsunaga's friend, and then have tea. A tour of each temple's special feature finished the visit, and then we were off to the next one. 6 temples in one day. The Shoshinge chanting got faster and faster and faster, till we couldn't keep up, and we were just going blah, 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 blah. That was a long time ago, too. We weren't quite as good at chanting the Shoshinge back then. But some of the temples offered visions of beautiful koi ponds filled with amazing koi. Another temple offered this life of Shinran stained glass windows along one wall. They were so beautiful. And then the last temple had a full stainless steel tiled roof in the traditional Japanese style. That was amazing. But he was just giving us a taste of all of the temples, and there were so many. And he was relaxed and just very easy with us, foreigners traveling. I don't think many foreigners go to these temples in Hokkaido. So he just was very natural with us and greeting his priest friends. And so the naturalness of Dr. Matsunaga, his humor and naturalness really shone through in all of his interactions. So he talked about how each temple sustained itself and teaching us how to sustain RBC. But we didn't realize it back then, and Dr. Matsunaga passed 3 years later. And then we were on our own. That was kind of scary. Now we survive solely on the donations from people in Reno who give regularly to support the many programs and events at RBC, and to have full-time priests available for counseling and important rites of passage. Each donation is essential and vital. We always ask that people set up a regular donation method that can support the temple. From that point, We went onward. So when after Dr. Matsunaga passed, we went onward in dana, in giving, expecting nothing at all, because we didn't know what would happen next. So we just walked the middle path, walked what Dr. Matsunaga would want us to do. You can try this in your life, or even when you do some Buddhist practice. Leave the expectations at the door. We can see those people who expect to get something. They're the ones who don't stick with it. If you want to get peaceful, if you want to get rid of your illness, if you are practicing to get something, that peace will come when you let that go. We accept our limitations and just give. Shunryu Suzuki Sensei in San Francisco famously said, "We practice without any gaining idea." Dana is an act of giving, an act of emptying and letting go. And it's a beautiful way of living life. When I give a talk, I don't expect anything back in return. I just put it out there. Reverend Matsunaga gave his Dharma talks with the attitude that he shared for the sake of sharing without expectations. He didn't even expect people to be interested or even learn something. There were literally no strings. If people did, great. If they did not, great. It was the same to him. He was still just as joyful and happy to be together. So whenever you do anything, you give, don't expect anything back, life can flow onward more joyfully. That is what we mean by giving, and Reverend Matsunaga's gifts were given without attachment, condition, or expecting. They were given with deep love, not sticky Valentine's Day love, but love, joy-filled love of life being shared together in Sangha. Thinking about the reading from the Tanisho, and the Tanisho is an important book, and it is often radical in its perspective. As you read it, there are little electric shocks you get when you think about what Shinran taught over 800 years ago. The translated title is Lamentation on the Deviations, or Notes on Lamenting the Differences. It was compiled by Shinran's student Yuyen Bo some years after Shinran's death. The deviations Yuyen was lamenting were the changes and additions to Shinran's message that had crept into Shin Buddhism in the time after Shinran's death. It's a short book and really can be read at a couple of sittings, but it takes more time to truly understand. I'm still working on that. But setting aside expectation of ever really getting it. It's okay. You don't have to understand everything. Just be, just enjoy, just be together. The passage says we don't belong to Reverend Matsunaga's Sangha as much as he too belonged to Amida Buddha's Sangha. We are all fellow travelers on the spiritual path. Everyone's faith, the faith of a single mom in Reno, is the same as the faith of Shinran's dear teacher, Ginku. Really, it is a gift from Amida Buddha. It is a gift we receive in community of profound belonging, a community of loving kindness. If there is a warm love between Sangha members, like we saw at the Founders' Dinner last night, then the Dharma is alive. Sometimes we encounter difficulties like any group of people does. It's okay. We can ride that wave. Let your roots grow deep here. Don't let it ruffle you. Come talk to us. Reverend Matsunaga gave this gift, and we are truly grateful. We show our gratitude by taking part, by participating, being here. When we look after a visitor to the temple and help them find a spiritual home here, we are looking after the Sangha. It is not enough just to go to the temple when you feel like it. Offer incense and then go home. We are responsible to try to repay the gifts of Reverend Matsunaga by our actions. To finish, let's share Reverend Matsunaga's deep wish to all sentient beings. Please say after me. May you be happy.
May you be happy.
May you be free from harm.
May you be free from harm.
May you receive boundless compassion.
May you receive boundless compassion.
And may peace and harmony fill your heart.
And may peace and harmony fill your heart.
Namandaps, namandaps, namandaps. That's the Nembutsu. Namu Amida Butsu, or Namandabu, or even shorter Namandaps. Reverend Matsunaga liked to make shortcuts. So that's what, if you ever hear us saying Namandaps, that means Namu Amida Butsu. I take refuge in the infinite wisdom and compassion of the universe. So let us stand now, and we will all sing our temple song, which is also from the Wild West, from how the West was won, in honor of the Western Pure Land. It's all tied together. And in our home in the meadow. We live in the meadows, the Truckee Meadows, so it's very fitting. Away, come away with me, where the grass grows wild and the winds blow free. Away, away, come away with me, where I'll build you a home in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land for the hopeful heart and the willing hand. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home in the meadow. The stars, oh how bright and far, on the world of pure and eternal law. The stars, oh how bright they'll shine, on the home we will build in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land for the hopeful heart and the willing hand. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home in the meadow. Namandaps, namandaps, namandaps. Thank you all for being here. You don't have to run away too fast if you'd like to join us downstairs for tea and treats and Sangha community time. You're welcome to do that. Yes?
I put the cheesecake out.
Oh, there's cheesecake today. Ooh, that ought to be enticing. So, yes, please come down and sit at a table with maybe people you don't know and make new friends. That's what it's all about. And we also have Newcomer Circle downstairs too, with Reverend Matthew and George. And everything else is on your order of service that happens weekly at RBC. So, thank you very much.